Hey guys, Alex here. Today it's again day match, and we have two videos that you guys sent me, of course, with Alex, the hero of the Philippines in the WTA, and she got a message from Nadal after destroying, the how should I call it, the German player who was whining all the time, and I'm talking about Sigmund. And like I was saying, today it's day match, and we have it's gonna be hard this game with the Linette. She actually yesterday, no, 2 days ago, she beat it number two WTA. So it's gonna be a hard match, but I trust Alex to crush Poland as well. So that being said, I want to see this thing where she received a message from Nadal. Let's watch this. It's awesome. After that game, man, she was so strong mentally.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
3-set win, a comeback for you. She's a tricky player. What solutions were you able to find?
I think I had to be patient. I'm sorry, the match was so long, I lost my voice. I think patience was key and waiting for the right moment, yeah, patience, a lot of patience.
We'll be patient with you. Some really long games, Alex. What are you looking to do, and how do you stay focused?
3 hours and a half.
Do sad for so long.
I think just focusing on the next point, and it could go either way. So the tension never really releases, and one point could change everything. So I think that kept me going. Yeah.
Talk about the tension never releasing. At the end of every match, you have so much passion. I don't know that we see that from everybody. We see it from Rafa back in the day. Were you like that in juniors? Were you that emotional after every win?
After every win, no, but this is a different ball game. This isn't juniors, and I often tell my team, every match for me is like life and death now, because luckily I'm fortunate enough to have reached that level where everyone is a fighter. The level is so close. I mean, this year I've done AO Manila 1,000, 500, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. So it's really a high level of competition, and yeah, I get emotional. I put, especially in matches like these.
Man, I'm so proud of her.
I put everything I have into it. So yeah.
I hope that never goes away.
Thank you.
When you're doing this in the 10th year, that you're coming back on tour. Obviously, this is your first time back playing in that big stadium since your run last year. So stepping out onto that court, what were the emotions like?
I definitely had some nerves going on over there. But even when I lost the first set, I was happy that I was playing well. I was able to compete. I was still in there. And at the end of the day, the work was done before this tournament. So it's not, not everything is on the line here. So, but I'm still super motivated and really want to win, yeah.
We could hear the crowd out here. I mean, they were going crazy for you. It's been such a phenomenon to see the support you've gotten all over the world. Is there any place that surprised you that you were like, wow, I didn't know there were so many Filipinos here?
No, because we are kind of everywhere. Yeah, we are everywhere, I've noticed. I did get really surprised in Australian Open. I saw some video clips after my match of the line going outside my court, and it was incredible. I did not expect that, because I had been going to qualifying, although, and it was not even like a fraction of that, but yeah, that's one that surprised me.
Nobody could get in. It was court 6. They needed to put you on a bigger court. Good thing here in Miami.
Well,
you're on the stadium, so we have room
yeah.
for all of your fans. I saw you the other night at Gecko, Dave Grutman's big pre-party.
Yes.
How do you balance now? Because everybody wants a piece of you. You're big.
Man, she's so humble.
Enjoying
God.
your fame with also staying focused on the goals out there.
I think, if I just time management for me, I think, is super key. And at the end of the day, I need to have fun on tour, and I feel like, I'm 20, I need to live my life. Like, not my whole life is tennis, even though sometimes, I think that sometimes it is, but that's what I'm working on, to have a life outside of tennis, enjoy, and it's super, super important, because the season is long, and we're only in March, so. Yeah.
So true. What are some of the other things you like to do outside of tennis to get your mind off it?
I like going on matcha runs. I like shopping. I like nature, like I like going to the beach and stuff, but those I need a little bit more time. It doesn't happen as often as I would like it to. Yeah.
For shopping, any big purchases you've made recently?
I'm trying to think. No. No. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe after
Yeah,
the
maybe
tournament.
after this. If you have any recommendations, let me know.
What type of stuff do you like to buy?
Oh, I love a good bag.
Okay.
I'm a sucker for a good bag, yeah.
Maybe a Birkin?
Oh, wow, okay, a Birkin. I'd love to have a Birkin. I mean, yes, I'd love one, but we'll see. It's a hell of a bag.
It is. We had Moise Kwame, the 17-year-old. He had his first ATP win come up here. He said he got a DM right after the match from Novak Djokovic.
Oh, wow.
Have you had any player or celebrity that has reached out
I guess
to you
now
that was extra
it's
special?
Nadal who called her.
Well, yeah, I mean, yesterday, Peggy Go messaged me because I mentioned her on my story, and she messaged me back, and I was like, oh my gosh, and she was in my box today. I was super happy. Actually, Miami of last year, I was blowing up, my phone was blowing up, and I tried not to look at it a lot. And Rafa sent me a message, but I saw it like 4 days after.
He was buried in your
Yeah,
DMs.
so I left it undelivered for 4 days, and I almost died. Don't do that, guy. But he was super nice. Yeah, he got it.
What did you write back? Because Moise didn't know what to say.
Wow.
I told him just say thank you. I really appreciate the text. But what did you say to Rafa?
I mean, I said, first of all, I apologized for getting back to him so late.
4 days.
No, I said thank you, and I'm fortunate enough to have seen him many times, be able to see him many times. So yeah, I say thank you all the time. Yeah.
I'm sure there will be many more people reaching out to you, congratulating you. You could potentially get Iga Swiatek in the next round. Rematch from here last year, one of the biggest wins of your life.
Well, not
what would you think
quite.
about that rematch here in Miami?
I mean, I would love for it to happen. I'm happy, really happy about this win, that I'm able to set myself up for a third round, whether it's with Iga or Magda. I think
it's with Magda.
It's the fact that I'm here is a really good. It's a really good step for me. Yeah.
Well, you bring such beautiful energy to the court every time you step on, Alex. Congratulations on the win today, and best of luck going forward.
Okay, thank you so much.
That was beautiful, guys. She's so humble. But we have another video over here. Let's say what Magda has to say after her amazing win. And when she, knew that she's going to have the opponent, it's going to be Alex. So let's go and check that out, and then we're going to have a little chat over here. Let's see what she said. And she has to be afraid because Alex, it's our Alex. Come on.
This is where things get really interesting for Alexandra Eala. Because coming into this Miami Open, the story was simple. Rising star, great form, dangerous player. But now, after that win in the previous round, after the crowd, after the momentum, this is no longer just a good run. This is a real test.
Yep.
Because in the round of 32, Eala is facing someone very different from her last opponent, Magda Linette. And this matchup is tricky in a completely different way. Now first, let's talk about where both players are coming into this match. Eala just came through a tough 3-set battle against Laura Siegemund. That wasn't a clean win. That was a grind. She had to deal with slice, variation, awkward points, and she still found a way through. That matters. Because if you zoom out, her form this season has been extremely solid. She made the semifinals in Auckland, quarterfinals in Abu Dhabi, another quarterfinal in Dubai, and reached the round of 16 at Indian Wells. And yes, that included a win over Coco Gauff. Officially a top 5 win, even though it came via retirement while Eala was leading. So the trend is clear. Eala is no longer surprising people. She's consistently going deep in big tournaments. But now on the other side, you have Linette. And her story in this tournament completely flipped in one match. Because in the last round, Linette just beat Iga Swiatek from a set down against the world number 2. That's not just a win, that's a confidence explosion. And suddenly, this match changes. because now this is not just Eala on the rise. This is Eala versus a player who just proved she can take down elite competition under pressure. And that's what makes this matchup so dangerous. Now, stylistically, this is not a power matchup. This is a control versus control battle. Eala plays as an aggressive left-handed baseliner. She wants to step in, take the ball early, and control rallies with her forehand, especially cross-court into a right-hander's backhand.
It's going to be a hard
From
game,
there,
this
she
one.
builds patterns. She moves you wide, opens the court, and then finishes with either a backhand down the line or a forehand into space. It's structured, it's repeatable, and when she's in rhythm, it's very hard to stop. But Linette is the kind of player who doesn't let you play that rhythm comfortably.
I'm so curious
She's
about
not
Linette
overwhelming
now.
with power. She's not blowing you off the court. What she does is absorb, redirect, and disrupt. Her backhand is extremely solid, especially cross-court, and she's very good at suddenly changing direction down the line to flip the rally. And that's exactly what she did against Swiatek. She stayed in the rallies, absorbed pressure, and then picked the right moment to strike. So what you get here is a very interesting dynamic. Eala wants structure. Linette wants to break it. Now let's talk about conditions, because Miami plays a big role here. Compared to Indian Wells, the courts here are faster, but the bounce is lower. And the humidity changes everything. The ball gets heavier, rallies get longer, and finishing points becomes harder. That slightly reduces the effectiveness of big topspin. And that matters for Eala, because her game relies on generating angles and pushing opponents back with heavy, aggressive patterns. If the ball sits lower and doesn't jump as much, it gives Linette a better chance to stay in those rallies and redirect.
We have to be
But at the
careful
same
on
time,
this.
the humidity also makes this a physical battle. And this is where Eala has a real advantage. She's younger, she's proven she can handle long matches, and she's already shown in Miami before, with that semifinal run in 2025, that she thrives in these conditions. So over time, if rallies extend, Eala might have the edge. But here's where it gets really tactical. The key pattern in this match is very clear. Eala's lefty forehand into Linette's backhand. That's where everything starts. If Eala can consistently push Linette wide on that side, she opens up the court. But Linette's biggest strength is her ability to handle exactly that. She can absorb that pressure, and more importantly, she can redirect it down the line. And that's the danger, because the moment Linette changes direction, she takes time away from Eala. And if Eala is even slightly late or slightly out of position, the rally flips. So this becomes a discipline battle. Eala cannot rush. She cannot try to hit through every ball, because if she does, especially off lower, skidding balls in Miami, the errors will come. We've already seen that happen in matches where she gets pulled wide or rushed. But on the other side, Linette has her own problem. She's going to be dealing with constant pressure into that backhand, over and over again. And if her first serve percentage drops, Eala is going to step in, attack second serves, and take control immediately. So both players have clear ways to win, and that's why this match is so balanced. Now, let's talk about the mental side, because this might actually decide everything.
Yeah.
Eala has momentum. The crowd is
And
behind
she's
her.
really
Miami
strong
has already
mentally. She's a
shown
Filipino.
strong support for her, and that matters. When you have that energy, especially in tight moments, it can push you through difficult games. But Linette has something just as powerful: belief. You don't beat Swiatek from a set down without gaining confidence. That win tells her she can handle big moments. She can handle pressure. She can stay in matches even when things aren't going her way. And that's dangerous. Because if this goes to a third set, experience becomes a factor.
Yeah.
Linette has been in these situations many times. Eala is still building that experience. So this match sits right on the edge. And it all comes down to one question. Can Eala stay disciplined for 2 full sets? Not just for moments, not just for one set, but consistently. Because if she can maintain her patterns, keep her depth, and not overpress, her game should eventually break Linette down. But if she loses patience, if she starts forcing winners too early, or if Linette successfully disrupts her rhythm, this match can swing very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's why this is such a big moment. Because this is not just another round. This is the point where a run either continues or gets stopped by experience. Now, in terms of prediction, this is very close. Linette has the confidence, she has the experience, and she just proved she can beat elite players. But Eala still has a slight edge. Her overall form in 2026 has been stronger. She already beat Linette earlier this year in Auckland in straight sets. And her game, especially in these conditions, is built to survive long, physical matches. So if she manages the rhythm, controls her aggression, and stays patient, this is a match she can win. Probably in 2 tight sets. But make no mistake, this is not easy. This is a real test. And if she gets through this one, then this run becomes something much bigger.
Okay, I don't know what are your thoughts, guys. I hope to see it down below. The only thing I'm afraid of is that Magda, it's on the wave, you know, thinking about you beat number 2, you say, okay, now I'm strong, whatever. It could be smoke and mirrors, you know. I have confidence in Alex for her resilience, how powerful mentally she is, and for her talent, for God's sake. She's coming from the Philippines, and she has a beautiful nation on her back, and she will win this. I just pray to God it's going to be in 2 sets, not the third one. I'm afraid of the third one. I don't know how it's going to be. And I hope she's not going to commit all those errors from the Sigemund game, because I remember the first set, she had, like, I don't remember how many, but at least 6 times to have the break point and to close the set, and she didn't. And then the game was a little bit, you know, awkward, but she still managed to do that. I hope in this game it's not going to happen like that, and we're going to have a clean 2-0 win for Alex. And yeah, anyways, hope you're going to see the game in the Philippines. I guess it's going to be like 4 in the morning, if I'm not mistaken. Here in Italy, it's going to be like 9 in the evening when the game is going to be. But it doesn't matter the time. I will wake up at 3 in the morning to watch her and to be there and to send my energy. Do the same down below in the comments. Just write "Go Alex" or something, a message for her. The energy is going to come to the court and give her strength to win this game too. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Stick on the channel for more updates, of course, not only about tennis, but a lot of other things. Thank you for watching.